Good evening and welcome back to the St. Petersburg By Night podcasting network. Tonight, we present to you our Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle, Bloody Strings.
Welcome to another St. Pete by Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to St. Pete by Night, where we play St. Petersburg by Night, a massive multiplayer tabletop role-playing game set in the world of darkness. We play Vampire the Masquerade, Hunter the Reckoning, and Werewolf the Apocalypse. I am your humble storyteller this evening, Beara the Bard, and I am one of many junior storytellers here at St. Pete by Night. Make sure to check out St. Pete by Night on all social media platforms. That includes X, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. But you should really check out our website, stpetebynight.com. We have our city map, storyteller profiles, and a one-of-a-kind threat meter. If you aren't already a subscriber on Twitch, you should go ahead and hit that follow button and catch up on all of our past episodes. And if you're interested in playing with us, come join our Discord. What are you waiting for? Come be a member of this amazing community. Today, we are playing Bloody Strings, one of many chronicles here at St. Pete by Night. Let's introduce our players. Hello and welcome to another episode of Bloody Strings. I am Beara the Bard, your humble storyteller this evening, and these are my lovely players. If you would introduce yourselves again.
Good evening, I'm Noree, and I will be playing Bellatrix the Malkavian.
And I'm Kyrie, and I'm playing Grei Novak, the Toreador with big dreams.
Hello, I'm Lekar, and I am playing Matthew Halden, the well-dressed ne'er-do-well Toreador.
Hello, I am Truckexe, and I am playing Mystery Incarnate, Nicholas Baldridge, a Malkavian.
Thank you very much. Last we left off, Matthew had a bit of a personal incident as some nameless figure had captured Mina, someone very important to him. He went and sought help from the Coterie, who immediately went to action. A couple of them went to go look at the location that they learned about via premonition. They learned a few things, but where we're starting tonight is where the other two went. Matthew went and collected Grei, and the two of them make their way over to the Elysium to meet with Edwin Kane. I will go ahead and it's walking distance. We'll just go ahead and put them on the way there. So we'll zoom in, you walking away from the ascent and making your way to the deli. The scene is yours.
So what's the plan?
Well, I need to have a conversation with Edwin, and I'm winging it here, to be honest with you, Grei. I am absolutely winging it.
What are you trying to get out of this? Let's start there. What do you want Edwin to do for you?
Well, despite what everything has gone through with him, not get captured by whoever it is that has done this. So if we can at least make them think we're doing this. I mean,
maybe he's one of those people who has a heart in the wrong place or something, you know, kind of shifted around, with the stake in the wrong spot, something.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of I've mimicked a lot of art. I've forged quite a few pieces. Good many of them are hopefully still residing in their homes of very overly dressed, pretentious bastards in New York. Sure, I could fake this.
Or maybe he's got pull that he could use. He does owe us.
Yeah, he does. I'm looking at options here because if anything happens, Grei, I cannot promise I'll be on my best behavior.
I get it. We'll see what he can do.
Hopefully something, because I feel bad enough sending the other two into the lion's den as it is.
Are you going to lay it out to him? The situation? Or are you planning on dancing around it?
Only so much as is necessary. You know, magicians don't reveal their secrets, and thieves don't really tell everybody the whole plan.
Okay. Well, I'll back you up.
Which is why I am grateful you're here.
I love it when you say that.
At this point, I'll say you reach the deli. You're met up front by a Lyceum guard. They bring you inside. Excuse me. They'll bring you inside. Take you through the space until you finally reach that little closet that's Edwin's office. They open the door. Edwin looks like he is in a deep consideration of something. As you step into the room, he does look up and he acknowledges you, gestures for you to have a seat in front of him. Good evening. Apologies. Mr. Novak, Mr. Halden, how can I be of assistance?
Edwin, please. Grei. My favorite keeper doesn't have to stand on formalities.
Very well
We
then.
come at a bad time?
There's just a lot happening right now. But I suppose that'll be taken care of shortly. The This is multiple visits in a very short period of time. I hope things are well. Not that I don't
Well-
appreciate the company, but it's different.
Matt wanted to talk to you, and I figured I'd accompany him because I love seeing your face.
I see. Matthew, what can I do for you?
Well, it's kind of a big ask. You know how you had us take something from someone else, and understandably that person was going to be very upset about it?
Yeah, this is about the ring.
Yeah, someone took something from me and I'm not happy about it.
Because of the ring?
I don't think so. But they made it very personal. And their demands are you.
Well, give me a what's an insight.
Three.
Okay. As you say this, you watch the kind of attentive concern kind of fall away to something of a analytical expression as he seems to be contemplating something. He kind of... What do you know of these people?
No idea who it is, but Nick and Bella went to go. They kind of got a bead on where these people were, so they went to go get an eye on what all was the situation. I haven't the foggiest who it is. All I know is something important was taken and they want you.
No man in your position has to have dozens, if not more, enemies. But if you have any idea of who might try to strike at you like this, be so brazen even.
Not... No. Okay. This might explain some things. The peculiar circumstances surrounding Sarah. I'll have to look into that, but there is a possibility that there's a possibility Chicago itself was not behind that. If that is the case, that's something I'll have to look into. What?
If that's the case, that means someone intercepted her on the way there?
Maybe. What is it? Because clearly You've been upfront with me. You didn't have the intention to take me by force, I presume.
I saw what you did to a stone statue. I'm not going to presume my squishy ass would survive. Even if I was intending, I definitely wouldn't have been upfront about
To be completely honest, I've thought about taking you by force a few times, but not in this manner.
Grei? No, not now.
Kind of turning back toward Matt. What is it that you need from me then?
Well, I had an idea, and I hate to say it, take a page from Victor's book, only make it look a little less gruesome. And we fake a photograph. He kind of looks at Grei and then back to Edwin. They want proof. If I can send them proof, or at least a facsimile of proof, we might be able to lure them out.
It also has to be a short list of people who are even capable of something like this if it's related to Sarah.
If it is me specifically that they're after, I do have a short list of associates from some time I spent in Chicago several years ago.
Anyone you'd hate to see go missing.
Hate to see. I wouldn't say that, no. How would you say we fake these images?
Well, I was thinking, also I kind of had a spin on the things we did with Ben. We make it look like we staked you, roughed you up a little bit, got the upper hand. I'm good at forgery. How hard is it to, fake theater blood?
Give me charisma persuasion.
Do you still have the trap? Look at Matt. Bin straps.
You mean that horrible contraption he put around my head?
Well, we already disarmed it. We could just put it around your head again instead of a stake. If that makes you feel more comfortable.
I'm not sure it does.
3.
We'd make certain it wouldn't go off, I promise.
I owe your coterie quite a bit, and you have saved my life. I won't throw mine away, however.
You're an important man. No one would expect you to.
No, I'm not expecting you to. If I had wanted you to throw your life away, I probably wouldn't have bothered. No, I definitely wouldn't have bothered coming to talk to you about it.
You said so yourself. You've acknowledged that you're afraid of what I can do. So that doesn't provide me much reassurance.
True. But the thing about seeing what you can do, in my line of work, I've seen what cops and security can do, so I learned to skirt around them. I have seen what you can do, yes, so I would definitely sneak up on you to try to deal with that. Would it go well? I don't know.
If you don't trust Matt, trust me.
It's not that I don't trust Matt. I don't trust much of anybody. I trust that you bring me results, your coterie. But I also know that there's currently a tension in the trust you have in me. Which makes me concerned in putting my life in your hands. So. Matthew. If your companions agree to wipe the slate clean, I will let you torture me for authenticity of this photo. However, should something happen to me and I am not able to check certain fail-safes by 2 a.m., the time you do this to me, you will not like the outcome. Do we have an understanding?
God, you would have made a great part of the group. Absolutely.
When do you need this by?
I don't remember if they gave me a time frame.
Sooner the better, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would assume as soon as possible because I don't know what the other side of this looks like at the moment.
He stands up, turns around, he walks over to the bookshelf behind him. You see he begins moving roughly 7 books in a particular order, pulling them back and then pushing them forward. If you wish to try to gain the pattern, please give me a wits and awareness. Or investigation. I'll allow that. Okay. The pattern number is 024791. I'll put it in the beta chat as well. Once he completes this pattern, you hear a mechanism on the other side as the bookshelf shifts and it opens. wait here. I'll be back in 5 minutes. He closes it behind him, and you are alone in his office. The scene is yours.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but he just agreed to actually let you do the whole thing.
Provided we, wipe our markers clean, yes.
I mean, I had Edwin pegged as interesting, but now he's willing to go this far. I just want to crack open that shell. Type of man that would take a risk like this. He's not as stodgy a keeper as he pretends to be.
I just hope we can figure this out before 2 a.m. because I really don't want to see what happens at 2:01.
Oh, one of us probably goes up in a cauldron of burning fire or something. Not exactly sure how all of the warlock magic works, but he claims not to have any. Claims.
Claims not to have much.
And yeah, I may have given him the wrong impression with the whole being afraid thing. I was impressed. That was awesome. But again, it's like I know what Nick can do and Bella can do and you can do and I can do. I've seen what my can do. I don't know what else is up his sleeve, but yeah, he took absolutely no effort to disintegrate a stone statue, and last I checked, I wasn't made of stone.
Maybe he can only do it to stone. So not being stone is what keeps you alive.
It's true. We don't know the extent, but I'm not one for taking those kind of risks. I've dangled off of roofs and, swung into crowds for stone statues, but I don't want to test on whether or not I'm more resilient against him than a stone statue.
So there's a bit of law in all of this. He asked that the slate be wiped clean for all of us. We go through this now. Bella and Nick might not agree. And then you're going to owe them something, bad one.
What do you think?
Oh, fuck them. Do what you need to do. This is important to you. They'll get over it. Either that or they'll be so angry at you that they want to kill you too. But I don't think that would happen. Not immediately, at least.
Not again for me, at least.
You were the one concerned about knives in your back, though. I figured I'd point that out.
Yeah, and I feel like if I do this behind their back, I'd be the one with the knife.
Again, this is important to you. Fuck them. Do what you have to.
not even for her.
Oh, come on. She means that much to you. It's the relationship between kindred.
It's because of her that I wouldn't do that to them. Don't get me wrong. I would be a little distraught if one of you were upset with me. I would be upset that I did something wrong to you. But if I went against any of you, that would wreck her. And I would not be.
She doesn't need to know.
Trust me, you don't know this woman. She'd know. She'd hear it. She would pull it out of me. She'd have it figured out before I even said hello on a phone. And I know. I would know. And I know what that would do to her.
And if she doesn't survive this because you're worried about stabbing a couple other people in the back, how would she take that? This isn't about her. She's the one who's been taken. She was taken from you. She's yours.
And it was a friend that took me from her.
Okay.
And even when I was taken away, I could have very easily pulled her under with me.
In her case, it's going to be permanent, though. Right? These aren't anyone who's going to care if she dies. They're definitely one of us. There's no appealing to their humanity in this case.
Why me, though? I mean, why not all of us? Why just me?
Well, you're assuming that the other shoe hasn't dropped.
That's fair. But usually in these kinds of situations, it's not a day-by-day thing. It's usually we get simultaneous text messages or phone calls saying, I want this, bring it to me now.
You don't have friends in Chicago, do you?
Oh, no. No, I didn't stay long enough in that place to even make acquaintances.
But you did stay. That's long enough to make enemies.
Fair.
And if yours overlap with his, then I think they can use you as leverage.
At this moment, the bookcase opens. Edwin steps out and closes it behind him. He sits down. Have you come to a decision? Is this what we should do? And are we doing this now?
Glance over at Matt.
If the others agree to it, then yes.
Very well. I will try to find out what I can. You said you said there was a location. Do you know it?
I do believe they had sent me a message about the location. They had gone there themselves, Bella and Nick, to investigate.
Give me a... We can call it wits and awareness. See if you're paying attention well enough. Interesting.
And I tried to fix it. All it did was move which die was the 10 over 1.
I'm starting to feel concerned this die might be loaded in some capacity because I, again, landed on paranoia. As you think back on the information, you recall the business that they found was abandoned north of pretty much all the territories of St. Pete, in a place that's technically within Tampa's dominion, but more on their outskirts, not something very frequently trafficked, being where you sent them. And he takes that down. You see him write it down. He kind of rolls up the piece of paper, and then you watch as he slides kind of like an ornate ashtray to the side, revealing a little spot with like a little chute that he drops the paper down in, bringing the ashtray back over. Seeing the hidden door, seeing the little chute, seeing how he is responding to certain things, I do think you might be becoming a little paranoid in this moment. A little concerned about how well things are going. Maybe a little too well. I will have someone look maybe into the comings and goings of the space for a couple of days to see what I can figure out. But if you don't have much time to get the image that it is that you're needing, then perhaps we should do this either tonight or tomorrow when you can get a hold of the rest of your team.
Yeah. I'll try to get in touch with him now.
Let me know what your group has decided, and we will make the arrangements.
Sure. Thank you.
Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, good.
Then I have some preparations for the coming Elysium. Take care, and I suppose I'll see you soon. He lightly bows and dismisses you. You guys are guided back out to the front entrance, as you usually are.
On my way out the door, stopping. I have to know, Edwin, do you really want me to reset things between you and me? Did Carmine know about the ring? My lips are sealed either way, but I have to know for myself.
The moving of that ring has been something I've been working on for a couple of years. Carmine did not know.
Thank you for the honesty.
Not sure if thanking me is appropriate. They don't have much choice.
We're all just doing what we have to do. I get it. But as I told you before, your secrets are safe with me. Make my way out.
You step out, and you are guided to the front of the building. What are on Matthew and Grei's mind as you are leaving the premise?
Well, Matt went out as fast as possible after, so that whole conversation, he didn't hear that. When he sees Grei come out a few minutes later, that doesn't help the paranoia. So now he's wondering what conversation went on with that. And yeah, he doesn't like the way this went down. But he's not going to say anything.
What about Grei?
Grei is keeping the face on. Inside, he is furious and would really love to smash Edwin's face in the same way that he smashed the stained glass. But he's not going to show it. Not now. Maybe later.
You all prepare to move on. We'll shift to just a couple days later. We will move toward, well, I suppose, Bellatrix. What is happening on this day? Or not a couple days later, like the next day kind of thing, but...
Bella is taking Sarah to meet Nick again.
As you're on your way, what is Nicholas doing?
Nick's pacing a little bit, rapidly rolling the coin in his hands. Specifically not lighting a cigarette right now. Kind of a sense of habit. Trying to not overthink how to interact with Sarah. Just trying to let the tension go.
And where is it you're meeting? At Nick's, specifically?
We can do the ascent.
Okay. Do you want to say anything to Sarah before entering the ascent? Or have a scene here?
Just quickly. How are you feeling?
I'm fine, I think. I was angry for a while, but I think I'm starting to accept things a little, maybe.
Good. Though he can really get on your nerves, trust me. Just wait.
She nods. She's, since the small amount of time that you've been staying with her, she seems to be, she's still very, very rigid and very poised in the way that she was about, but there's a little more color in her clothing. Her hair is a little less librarian, a little bit more just playful sometimes, but still very much wearing like colored, but it is a like still pantsuit situation.
Right.
You arrive at the ascent. She follows you inside. Nick, while you're waiting, Bellatrix and Sarah enter the room. Sarah kind of tilts her head and watches you.
Nick,
Grasp,
Sarah again.
grasp the coin. Like, hello, sir.
Hello, Nick.
Like I said,
Sure. She moves across the room and takes a seat. You remember seeing her a couple months ago, feels like. Or forever ago, rather. And she was walking like when she moved or when she spoke, it was like a nervous child. But in this moment, she has a bit of a commanding presence as she walks across the room and takes a seat in the nearest chair and continues watching.
I'm gonna go sit on the couch.
I don't think I could ever cover it. Probably don't even hear it. It's worth mentioning that I am so sorry.
For what?
Not being able to prevent tragedy.
You weren't able to prevent it beforehand. Why should you feel you could have then?
It could very well be arrogant on me to even try to apologize for something I couldn't do anything about. But it's the way I feel about it. But as I said, you don't need to hear that from me.
No. I don't. I was mad at you for a while. Every time I was hit, or every time my mind was played with, I was angry at you. But I realize that's just what you all were. And I figured I would be tossed aside eventually. But then that didn't happen. And now I'm like you. And I've been thinking about what I would do when I saw you again. At first I thought I wanted to hurt you really bad. I left the coin where I did because you told me it would bring me luck, and I didn't see it again until I took it off of my sire's body. I haven't known luck since my mother died. And you left me and kind of turns toward Bella with the Camarilla?
Yes.
But I understand now. You have as little choice about your own fate as I have with mine. And I've learned a lot from Bella in the short time I've known them. Thank you. This is my existence now. And I have to accept that. Which means, not that I forgive you, but I accept what happened.
That's more than fair.
She continues and kind of tilts her head a little bit. There's something different about you, though. You don't seem as weak as you were before.
No, I'm in those sleepings. I've just had some remembrances.
Give me a wits and insight, both of you.
I'm gonna spend a willpower.
Sure thing.
I got 4 successes.
Okay. You said you got 4?
Yeah. I ended up in the wrong chat, so I had to delete it, but I did get 4.
You're good. All right. Nick, it's a little hard to read. You are not feeling great about what's being said to you right now. However, Bellatrix, you're noticing this is not the same demeanor that you've been witnessing. And you have a suspicion that maybe a little bit more than Sarah is popping at the moment. Maybe
Okay.
not so much like there is another presence as much as Sarah is leaning into something unconsciously.
Okay.
There is a certain... I guess this has its ups and downs, but I'm starting to appreciate the ups. So for that, and only that, I thank you. Can't hear you, man.
I have to admit, that is one hell of a blade to stab me with. Appropriate. And fair.
Well, I said my piece. Is there anything you'd like to say?
That's not because I need your forgiveness. But not to say I wouldn't want it. Not because not because I owe you. Or because of guilt. I'm still, like Bella, going to help you if I can. As long as you'll accept it. That, of course, is your choice. What you think of it is up to you. That's all I can really offer.
Well, considering the state in which I have been brought here, I am in a position where I do need assistance, and Bellatrix has been helping me with that. I won't say no to help, but I do intend to move to a point where I don't need it. Turns toward Bellatrix.
It could take a while, but I do want to see you where you are independent.
Okay. And then you see her eyes and her position kind of still very formal, but it softens a bit as she... Okay, well, I think that went well. What do we do now?
We're meeting the prince soon. So...
Right.
we should probably make sure you're brushed up on at least the traditions.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly go into some of the clans. Do you have any questions? I know you said you'd come back with questions.
You answered my questions in regard to territory and what was acceptable in those regards. Domain. I guess I understand that what I did was wrong. I just don't understand why it was wrong. I guess.
Are you talking about the one we said don't tell the prince about?
Yes.
Okay. We're all predators.
On that count.
I wasn't planning on it. We're all predators now. Monsters, even if Nick doesn't want to admit it.
I don't know. I admit it.
But to us, the biggest taboo or the greatest monster is the one that would hunt us. And so, you can't really rely on someone that could very well eat you in the end, I suppose. I think that's a fear many people face. But think of it like cannibalism when you're a human.
I guess I fail to see how it's. I guess I don't really see the difference in it being cannibalism.
When we're already feeding
Now-
off humans.
Yes? I understand
Many
that it's the
viewers-
only way we can draw sustenance, but it's. Well, not the only way, but primary.
If I may, Bella.
I can't bother with animals. It doesn't really do anything for me, but
Go ahead, Nick.
Putting the pieces together here, I assume she means drinking another kindred.
Yes.
It's more that, and this is just from what I've heard and recent experience, it's more that I can only guess because of our supernatural existence. That's to drink another kindred is to reportedly imbibe in their soul, so to speak, their mind, their personality, who they are. And that is, to many, much more terrifying than just dying, is to continue existing without control. There's also rumors, however, that if you're not strong enough, you're not the one who stays in control. It's mostly hearsay, but out of my own recent experiences, it's definitely not something to mess around with if it's true. To not know who you are, or if someone else's essence, shall we say, is corrupting, tainting, or influencing you, makes you unpredictable. Not only to yourself, but to others. And unpredictable is probably the one thing the Cambriya hates more than most others.
so if that was I guess that's what leaves me confused. If that was something that was so wrong, why would the prince order me to do it?
Like, Nick snaps his gaze to Bella.
I don't think that was the prince. I
Yeah,
think
that
this
doesn't
is a
sound
game
right.
someone is playing. Do you have the letter, Nick?
Nick will pull it out, handing it to Bella.
Hold it back out to him.
Oh, right. Nick will use Spirit's Touch.
Spirit's touch. Okay. Go ahead and make the roll for me.
Oops. Hungrier. Five successes.
You get a very cold sensation So you don't feel so much of an emotional attachment as much as maybe a cold drive or ambition. I will say with 5, you can tell that this was just a step. This didn't mean anything beyond moving toward a goal.
Certainly can't speak to whether or not it was the prince, but I'm not getting the sense of anything beyond this being a chess move. And I would expect, especially for a place like Chicago, that a prince would have a couple more thoughts and feelings on the subject than what I'm getting here. All this is cold, calculated, kindred bullshit.
Why would the prince order a child who was made without consent, or made without permission, to diablerize her sire?
That was what I don't know, but it was definitely I look at Sarah, trying not to be apologetic in his eyes, failing, towards something. What that is, I don't know. It would seem we should probably get in touch with Chicago.
So, if I understand this correctly, the force behind most of the mechanizations that have built the world we live in couldn't deliver a human from point A to point B without this happening?
Oh, I could rant about that for nights on end. Not wrong.
The embrace doesn't breed out incompetence.
You see there's a sudden shift in her behavior again as she... I see.
We're going to get to the bottom of it.
When do we meet the prince?
If this is the next night, we should meet him tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
I think I wish to return home and go over the traditions again.
Okay. I think that's an excellent idea. Besides, I have some reconnaissance to do. There's a Elysium going on tonight, so I'm going to see what is happening and how the prince makes decisions.
Oh, Bella, could you relay that it's long overdue that I make my, what's the word? At the very least, apologies and repay the mistakes I've made previously, shall we say?
Sure. I can set that up.
I appreciate it. It's time I paid my dues, so to speak.
Shall we go?
I'm ready. She climbs down from the chair and she follows you. You leave the ascent and head back to the tea shop. We will move to the next day, as again, the second trial of Sarah will take place. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
St. Petersburg by Night is brought to you through collaborations with our partnered vendors: Wolfpack Dice, Ember Fox Dice, Dragon Ink Dice, Beara the Bard, Champs Tramps, Pantry Artista, Chromatic Creations. Links to our partnered vendors, as well as our Twitch and YouTube channels, can be found on our website, stpbynight.com. The official theme song for St. Petersburg by Night is Vampire by Faith and Failure. You can find them at faithandfailure.com. You can follow St. Pete by Night on all socials with the hashtag St. Pete by Night. If you wish to support our program, you can do so at ko-fi.com/St. Pete by Night to help keep the stories rolling.
Welcome back. Last we left off, after the vignettes, we moved on to the next day. The Coterie coming back together for a long-awaited reunion at Asylum. You guys arrive at the building shortly after reconvening at the ascent. I will go ahead and pass it off to Kent.
So as you arrive outside of Asylum, it is, as often described before, a 3-story tall brick building that looks more worn than it should be, as it was built only within the past year or so. There is a line outside the door, and from inside you can hear heavy pulsing sounds coming out. As you go inside, it is industrial night. However, as opposed to typical industrial nights, you hear the sounds of sledgehammers hitting bricks. You hear the sounds of machinery. There isn't actually any music playing, and everybody on the staff is in jumpsuits and hard hats. As you make your way to the elevator, pressing the button to go up, the elevator door opens, and as you walk inside, there is a Muzak version of Rockwell's Somebody's Watching Me as you ride up the elevator to the 3rd floor. Once the elevator opens, there is the sound of something plastic rattling. And as you walk into the room, you can see that there is a ping pong table where Charlie and Al are playing ping pong. However, they're not playing typical ping pong, as there are 3 balls flying back and forth across the table, and each of the balls has a little iris drawn on it, so that it looks like 3 eyeballs are being bounced back and forth with the paddles. As you step into the room, Al spikes one of the balls, sending it ricocheting off a corner, but Charlie spikes the other 2 balls, and they ricochet off of Al's side. And he lets out a scream of exasperation that turns to a giddy laugh before turning to face both all of you. Hello!
Would have an eye on the prize.
Oh, I've got my eye on the prize, all right. Hi, Nick.
Hey, Al.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
30 minutes or less, eh? Well, come in. Have a seat. We've got a couch and folding chairs and floor, if you prefer floor, but please come in.
I'll go sit on the couch.
Charlie.
Hi!
Hi, Charlie.
How is everyone?
Well, mostly. Grab one of the folding chairs.
Have you heard the news?
I was there last night.
Hell is empty and all the demons are here now.
Did I miss a really good party?
Anyway, why are you here? What do you want?
Well, I did promise that I would reach out and talk to Nick. I did. And he decided that he needed to make amends.
Really?
Yeah, there's, let's just say, stupidity followed misremembrances, yeah? And pepperoni bagels. As he points to Charlie.
Interesting.
Well, make amends then.
I appreciate it.
I think he's looking for the apology. Elbow Nick.
Oh! Social interactions. Not always easy. I do genuinely apologize if I've you've said I've given offense. I apologize for the offense given. I was an asshole. With a massive stick on his ass.
The stick, you said. And Al will set down the ping pong paddle, and start pacing around the room, moving primarily, his eyes focused solely on Nick. Big old stick. You know the things about sticks, right? The best way to be rid of them is to remove them, or have them removed. Would you like your stick removed, Nick?
Well, I would hold one up, but unfortunately it caught fire.
I see. Charlie, do you feel amended?
Well, that depends. What did you do, Nick?
Plain and simple. I kind of felt I was better than dealing with the other Malkavians. That I was high on my own morality. And thus, I did not deign myself to speak, or come to pay proper respects, enjoy your lovely company, or basically do anything of even simple decency, which, kind of makes me a bit of a hypocrite.
Sounds like you were playing Ventru. I'm noticing a theme with this particular group.
Doing something.
I'm a bit offended.
What?
You called me a Ventru.
Not you.
Okay, good.
And Nick, you still think you're better than all of us?
No, not always.
Why
It's
the
still a
change
bit-
of heart?
Think of it like... Oh, I got it. So, you know when you can't quite get the folding chair to quite line up right, and you gotta wiggle it some, and then suddenly, waha! You remember? That was kind of my brain.
That's all our brains. Some are recliners, some are folding chairs, some are tables, some are just gutters.
Oh, don't get me wrong, the gutter can be fun, but there's just not much point these days.
Well, Nick, I appreciate the explanation, I appreciate the apology, but words are words, and lots of words are said, but the meanings aren't always the same behind the words. Lots of words were said last night. How many of them are true? Nobody will really ever know. But for me to feel amended, for me to feel satisfied, there is but one simple solution. And he walks and stops right in front of Nick. Let me in.
It's not a small ask, pal. I do acknowledge that amendments are needed. But it's not a
Your
small
words
ask.
match your intentions. You have nothing to hide. I won't stay long. I won't mess you up the place. I'm a very, very, very kind house guest, and I'm really showing that by asking and not just taking.
That is fair. May I ask one question?
Go ahead.
Find someone else. Can you make them scream for me?
Do they have to be local?
Well, they're probably not.
Are they one of us? Because it's a lot easier if they're one of us.
I can't say. But if you figure out that they are, I'll take that too. If you can't make them scream.
Well, you doing this for me pays back the things you've done. If you'd like me to do something else, my prices are more than reasonable.
Well, how about this then? Since I don't want you to go out of here, as you said, it's to make amends. But if you do see something and you know anything about it, would that be fair?
Oh, you want me to tell you what I find in the house, what what I find in the closet, what I find in the basement.
If it's too much to ask, that's fair.
What if you don't like it?
I'm tired of avoiding things I don't like.
I'd have to see first. You let me see, then maybe.
Fair enough. Fuck it. I'm open.
Al will walk up and lift Nick's chin so that he can make full eye contact. And then he'll stare for several moments. He's frozen in place, holding still. And it seems like the minutes pass by, but really it's only seconds before he steps back. Oh, hello, you. Oh, Nicholas. Ah. That was a very, very big house. A lot bigger than most of the houses I've seen. There are many rooms, many corridors, many halls, many closets. And in those closets there dwell skeletons of many names, shapes, sizes. Some of them missing their funny bones. Oh,
Who's that slut?
Nicholas. You weren't always called that, were you? In fact, that's just a recent development, isn't it, Nicholas? Oh, my. This is very delicious indeed. You are older than you know. Looks like someone's been in there doing some reorganizing. Did you have an interior decorator visit the house, Nicholas? Or did you have a bandit break in and wreck up the place?
We call her Blanche. If it's a her.
For now.
I wish I could tell you more, Al. But more than I do.
Why don't you tell me how you got to this place, that you felt so willing to make amends, that you were willing to let me into your house? Because it wasn't that long ago when the idea, the very notion of it, would have made you tremble, would have made the web and the strands tremor and shake. Why now? How did you get here?
Don't get me wrong. I absolutely. But I hate something far, far more. Having things that I held precious fucked with. Having myself and who I think I am fucked with. And I want repayment.
Nicholas, we were fucked with ever since we were made. Your very existence is you being fucked with. In its own right. But I think that there could be some fun to be had for you, for the others. I think the deeper you dig, you will find that Blanche blushes, you will find that there is a very, very deep, deep rabbit hole leading to Neverland. Not one. I could give you something. But you also know of something that I'm interested in. So, if you want the thing that I want you. Or if you want the thing that I want the thing that you will have. Yes.
Ooh, that's a call. Minimal.
Oh, no. It's not as tall an order as you think. All you have to do is wait.
Ah.
Wait long enough, and it's not that hard.
Interesting.
Wait for the right opportunity.
That's right, darling. These opportunities present themselves when those who don't know how to hold my precious hold on to it too long.
I'm just trying to thank you for going fan.
Oh, it's a wonderful series.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many layers upon layers upon layers. It's like a cake. Or an onion.
Delicious, too. So
Or
much
lasagna.
density. Ooh, that, I used to love reheating lasagna. So much better because everything re-melts together.
So do we have a deal? You bring me what I want, and I will give you what you need.
Nick will let his eyes shift to the others. And I would like to make a wits and insights on their opinions.
That is fine. You could also probably just ask.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then he'll ask. What do y'all think?
I'm just counting the days of how long it was ago that I actually suggested this. You should know my answer.
Fair.
I don't have
So?
any sort of dog in this fight, so what you want to do with it is entirely up to you.
What the hell? Why not?
So, I'm going to make sure this is stated clearly from my side. If I agree, the burden of holding up the agreement falls on me. Not them. Not fair?
I've already made an agreement with one of you. I'm satisfied. Terms have been concluded. So yes, Nicholas, if you want her name, her real name, you will bring me the ring after its user is done with it.
The
They'll
thing,
be done with
the real
it very
name.
soon.
Her real name wasn't Blanche.
Oh, no.
I-
That is just wallpaper in the new house. That is just a patch job.
Such a fitting name, though.
Oh, you'll like the real one. I know I do.
I can't say that I'm going to like something like that in someone else's hands, but it's not like I can do anything with it. So, you have yourself a deal out.
Wonderful! And he will shake your hand. So, anything else that we can do for you this fine evening? Amends have been made. fences have been fixed.
So, I do have a question. Considering, what we're talking about, and his eyes will go to Charlie. No problem. Just talking about it's not going to hurt us, correct? Looks back at
Depends.
us.
What are we talking about? Words
Really
have power,
liking Lord
like
of
I
the
said.
Rings. Really liking Lord of the Rings. And sometimes Gollum is quite the figure.
But I'm not Gollum.
You're not. We are
No.
talking about it.
No, Gollum wants it. But the problem with Gollum is having something that wasn't for them. Does terrible things.
Would that make you Sauron?
I don't like the sounds of Sauron now.
He has an elvish name, but I get
Well, I am a bit of a watcher. I do keep my eyes peeled until I can peel others. So I guess in some small way, yes, there's nothing wrong with envisioning a world that is not what it currently is, a better world. And he looks specifically over towards Greg. But yes, let he who desires have what they desire for the short period of time that they will have it. And when they are done, it will be mine. What you want will be yours.
I agree.
Wonderful.
Does his downfall have to do with Chicago?
Beara, does it?
I don't think without using some kind of supernatural sense, I would have that information.
Oh! Does it have to do with what happened in Chicago recently? That's what you're asking.
Maybe. I'm not sure what happened to Chicago recently.
Oh, someone else took something that didn't belong to them. But you already know that, don't you?
No.
Oh. You will. Maybe it's just not time yet. No. I don't know if it has anything to do with what's happened recently in Chicago. No, this is ancient history. I don't stay up on current events too much, except those that happen a little closer to my proximity. A lot of ancient history being re-dredged up recently, in fact. Maybe that's the theme this season, Charlie.
Old history?
Yeah. Old history
Oh,
made
so we're
new.
like in the History Channel right now.
I think so, yeah, except it's also being brought into current events, like, things that we thought were ancient history are re-emerging and coming back as current history.
So like the Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
I like it.
No, all I did was see that the house has been redone, but that there are still bones there. Good old houses have solid bones. You just dress up the walls, you redo the furniture, you move some things around. Maybe you turn an old bedroom into a rumpus room and a closet into a crafting space. But the bones are still there. And these bones, oh, these bones. There's a lot to these bones. just have to peel back the wallpaper to see it.
Were the bones there before the house was remodeled?
Oh yes, the bones were there since the house was built.
Oh, okay.
The foundation. They just, flipped the shit out of that bitch. Okay. So we have a deal. Let the pretender enjoy the ring. And when they're done, bring it to me, and I'll give you the name. And that should reveal some bones to you.
And Nick, are you planning on coming around more often?
I'm certainly going to try. Get tied up on it. Or lose track of time.
Okay, well, don't try. Do.
I take it then that everyone is satisfied.
Not yet, but soon.
At least with the current situation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Are you satisfied, Matthew?
Suppose so. I mean, it's not really on my end. It's for him, not me.
And what do you desire? I mean, it was your family's house that got robbed after all. You must desire something.
I'll get back to you on that.
Please do. I may have considered myself Sauron, but I can also be a genie if you wish.
Well, then I'll let you know when I'm ready to rub the lamp.
3 times
Not
and
great,
you're playing with it.
I'm turning into Grei.
There's nothing
Okay.
wrong with that.
No, not at all. Well, this has been lovely. So unless you like to play ping pong, I don't believe we have any other business.
I'll play
Or
ping
do.
pong.
Oh, yay!
I actually think we do have a bit of business. One that I left undone the last time I was here. I can tell you both with certainty. My family name is Novak.
With certainty.
Wait, I thought you couldn't say it because you didn't deserve it.
I
Are you
decided they
related
did.
to BJ Novak?
No, but I've decided that they don't deserve me.
Even better.
About time.
I have to agree.
So
I
you're
like you
making a name of your
exactly
own.
how you are.
She said.
Thank you.
Well, good. I'm glad everybody's finding themselves one way or another in the city. The city of, what did they say last night? Second chances.
I gotta use that one.
Pulls at the heartstrings. You should always use it if you want to get your way here.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to adopt a little girl.
Ooh, that sounds awful.
It is
Tell me about
100% awful, and you should tell her not to do it.
Who's the little girl?
Her name's Sarah, and her mother was a victim of Ben's. And then she was sent to Chicago, but she may not have made it there. We're not sure. And she was taken by a Ventru who abused her and embraced her, and then she Diablerized him.
Ooh, yummy.
She said she was told to by someone who said they were the prince. I'm not sure on that. Of Chicago. And then she got sent back here.
I don't believe Jackson's a fan of that kind of taste. That does not sound like him.
See? And the note she was sent back with was signed K.
Kevin, Keith, Penny,
Just K.
Halliburton.
She's the worst, and Bella shouldn't be saddled with her.
He's jealous.
I
You
am
want
not
her, Grei?
jealous. No, I definitely don't want her. Just don't want to be tangentially responsible for her.
So
First,
once
why
it,
did you? Yeah, go, Charlie. You first.
I was just gonna ask, but you wanted her this way, but now that she's this way, you're like, your problem.
No, I wanted her away and somebody else's problem. To be honest.
Yeah, we were pretty much getting rid of her, and then they brought her back with a few modifications.
Why do you want her, Bella?
She's like me.
One of the pieces.
I don't know that yet.
So what would happen? She's just gonna follow you around and like.
Well, I was going
No.
to teach her, the ways, because they taught her absolutely nothing, kind of like last night.
Oh, so okay. So if you take her, then she's also my responsibility.
Oh.
Probably, yes.
Okay. So if it does work out, because this is none of my business, you do what you want to do. If it doesn't work out, you run away with the kid, you kill the kid, you do whatever you got to do, but just don't make it my problem, okay?
Deal.
Does this mean I'm gonna be a grandpa?
Grandpa, uncle,
Grunkle?
grunkle, yeah.
Technically stepbrother.
Step. Okay. Why are you so worried, Grei? What about this one is problematic?
Because she's never going to get older. And eventually it's going to she'll just splinter onto the weight. And I don't think she's going to handle it well.
Well, I mean, there are some in Eastern Europe who could do something about that, but there's still something left.
There are. But
So wouldn't that solve the problem?
it's not a problem that's easily solved.
Al, didn't you tell me that there was a small one that was somewhere, Chicago or something? Like a small one that was doing just fine for a while.
Well, there was that baby one that was. Oh, yes. There are a few small ones, honestly, all over the world. A lot of them older than even me.
But fixing the shape of the body doesn't necessarily fix the dissonance in the mind.
That's what we do. We
She's
fix
not-
them.
She's not like us.
No, but just like our dear Nicholas will find out if you go in and do some redecorating. It tends to solve the problem for a while.
For a while. And
Well,
then
as long as you have
strikes.
constant maintenance, then it won't be a problem. I think that's Nick's problem, is he didn't have maintenance, so it got a little wishy-washy in there.
Oh, they did a very, very good job. Just some of the pipes are starting to leak. Well, you're sure about this, Bella? This one specific.
Yes.
We can get you a puppy. If you want a puppy, we can get you a puppy.
Nah. I want this one.
You'd be better off with a puppy.
Why this one, Bella? Why specifically this one?
I saw what was done to her. She's like me. Is she another piece? I don't know. But might also be useful to have, a venturer who kind of looks up to you in the future.
That's honestly the first reasonable thing I heard you say.
But they
I
only stay
have
under a thumb for so long. They always find their way out until they become the thumb. It's in their blood. You will have the power for a while, maybe a decade, couple decades if you're lucky, maybe even a century. But they will find their way out. That's what they do. So you'd always have to be ready for them to take the crown and scepter. They can't help it.
Well, it's not a problem if they become the thumb, if Bella's the hand.
But she's not one of them. The reason they're the hand is because they're controlled by the blood. That's how
No.
they assert dominance.
They're the thumb that puts pressure. The hand is what puppeteers.
Yes, but the hand is usually the older kings and queens.
We're in a weird city.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, you're a big girl. It is a precarious situation you are in, and I wouldn't decide for you, as I haven't done for most of your existence, and you turned out just fine. But I would say this, if you are going to take this girl, this puppy, you have to train it, you have to feed it, and you have to make sure it's leashed, possibly forever.
I know.
Are you okay with that? Being the one holding the leash?
Yeah, I am.
Also, make sure to take everybody else here, the rest of your boys, because I'm sure you've had to be babysitting them the whole time. So it gave you good, practice, but the boys are still going to be a part of it, and they might get jealous if you love her more.
That's more a Grei thing.
Oh no, absolutely. I'll get jealous if she loves her more.
But the other thing is he doesn't count.
I just want every other weekend and at least one Wednesday a month.
I could do that.
Give me some pizza bites, I'm good.
Have you spoken to the boy king about this?
Not yet. Soon.
Well, you have your sexy mother's, your MILF's approval. You have your MILF's approval. So that's the first step. Step-grunkle is on the fence about it, but willing to see where it goes, if nothing for the stories it'll tell and the events that'll occur. So if you can convince the boy king that it's worthwhile, then maybe, just maybe, you are fit to have a pet license. But I would listen to Grei. At least keep his words in the back of your mind. You don't have to do what he says, but minding his unique perspective on this, something not worth forgetting.
No one ever does what I say anyway, so.
They don't have to do what you say, they just have to remember that you said it. Because they have to remember that there's a very, very sexy I told you so possibly in their future. If they're lucky enough to hear it.
Thank you.
But I think we
These are
should.
the 3 ages.
I think we should let them go because two Toreadors in the room. You've been saying sexy a lot, and I think it's like really getting to you.
Yeah. Ugh. I haven't visited Carmen in a few days, so it's,
I'm sorry, I can't turn this off.
I wouldn't ask you to. Anyway, good point, Charlie. Wonderful. So many new and wonderful things were learned tonight. It has been an eventful week, and yes, go get your boy King's permission, and I look forward to meeting the young one and seeing if we can do snack treats and tricks and whatnot.
Okay.
Bye!
Bye.
Good night.
Speaking of the boy king, we are going to take a quick break and then move to Elysium. We now move to the Elysium grounds. You all are, as normal, stopped, checked, and brought in by security. Instead of going to Edwin's office as you usually are, you're brought to the same conference room that you've been to a couple of times before, where you first met Edwin, and the last time you were here was, well, to see Carmine. You're brought into the room, and I will go ahead and hand it off to him.
As I've mentioned before, the room has very few frills, nothing very outstanding or exuberant. It's very pragmatic, it's very practical. There is a conference table with several very simple, plain wooden chairs, and a desk that is not hand-carved or ornate, but is functional more than form. The prince sits behind the desk, writing on a piece of paper as you make your way in, and he sets down the pen and folds his hand on the desk in front of him and looks up. Good evening. Come in, please, sit down.
I will I will go ahead and add Edwin, escorting to the space as well. Will be seated between you and Carmine, and Sarah following behind you. Will be seated next to Baldridge.
Sarah, welcome back to St. Petersburg. A lot sooner than I expected you.
Thank you, sir.
I had heard that she was back in town, so I decided to reach out to Annabelle in Chicago. Turns out she never arrived. Would like to explain?
Well, Your Majesty, it seems
Prince is
that
fine.
well, Prince, it seems that she might have been taken before she arrived in Chicago. I'll pull the letter out. She came back with this.
To look to Edwin to take the paper. Or whatever is being handed over.
Yeah, for him to take it. Okay, so yeah, he reaches over, he takes it. No seals or anything of that nature, just a handwritten note. She is your problem now, signed K.
Kevin Jackson is the Prince of Chicago, but he is an upstanding individual based on tradition. He comes from a formidable line. I have a hard time believing he would send a letter like this.
Yes, Prince, I don't believe it is him. From Sarah's description of who she was told was the prince, it appears to be a Nosferatu.
Nosferatu.
Please give me wits and insight rolls.
I'm going to spend a willpower.
Okay. All four of you notice, at the mention of Nosferatu, there is a very slight wince on Edwin's face, as well as his gloved hand kind of tightening into a fist for a moment before relaxing as he regains his composure. You may continue.
From what she has told me and what I have seen in a vision of her sire, seems she was taken, or she was given to a Ventru to serve. And after a time she displeased him, he embraced her.
Perhaps the K is heaven, but instead believe. Which means he likely didn't want Kevin finding out about this.
That would mean that there was considerable, well, unrest in Chicago for that to be the case.
Would have to be.
He doesn't want the prince to find out. Why send back traceable proof?
Possibly to avoid unrest. If there is a Ventru within the city of Chicago that is embracing freely without permission, that looks bad upon the clan. And the last one who had this issue was Loden. And you don't exactly see Loden reigning anymore.
If you move goods, you don't. If you're stealing something in the city, you don't want the thing you're stealing in the city. You get rid of it, so there's no evidence.
The business of Chicago isn't necessarily for us to be probing in, especially after recent events. It's quite likely other cities will have already heard word of what happened here just this week. Don't look to stir the hornet's nest with them. However, I need more information about this, as this is our problem now.
Sir, I would like to say that from what she said, her sire is dead. Who she believed was the prince ordered it and then sent her back here.
How did he die, Sarah?
Sarah kind of sits there a moment and then kind of looks up at Bellatrix.
I'll nod.
I was brought before him, and we were in this dark room, and my sire was brought into the room as well. Except he was, he had a stake in his chest, and I guess not the prince, whoever that was, ordered me to feed from him. And I couldn't stop. I wasn't able to do anything about it. I just fed from him until he died.
Did you drink the last drop and stop, or did you keep going?
I drank till there was nothing left.
Carmine uses aura sight. Will he see the black veins of true diablerie?
He will.
Sarah, what you have done is one of the greatest crimes in our society.
Bella, I understand that now. Bella told me this.
For a prince to order such a thing is very unorthodox outside of a blood prince. From what I can tell, this was no blood prince. These could be the tools of the Sabbat or some ravenous blood cult. Can you describe your sire? Detail them.
He was a large man, kind of. He wore very nice clothes very often. His hair was kind of thin. He had a very large ring that he wore on his right hand pretty often. I don't think other people liked him very well. He seemed very bitter, but he was careful not to say his name around me. He just told me to call him sire.
Could you describe the ring?
Give me a moment.
How did the rest of you come upon her?
She sent us a message to meet her in the place Ben had kept her. And once we found out, we brought it to Edwin, who set up the meeting with you.
How did she have your contact information?
That's a good question.
If I may.
What?
If I may, Prince.
Go ahead.
If her sire was being so careful to hide his name from her, they're being sent back to the place that she came from. It stands to reason that every ounce of this has hints of plan, from diablerie, who was diablerized, to reaction to you wanting questions. I don't want to go down tangents of overthinking, but I think it is worth bearing that keeping an outside-the-box mentality might be prudent, instead of going with predictable patterns that someone could possibly plot out with our reactions to all the information we're gathering.
I couldn't agree more. This is clearly a ploy to cause an altercation between ourselves and Chicago. They wouldn't need the subterfuge of a single initial, calling it our problem, that is predictably expecting a reaction from us, and the fact that it comes from, hey, I believe they're trying to make us believe that it's Kevin Jackson, the prince, rather than Annabelle, who was the only other person involved in this particular arrangement. Now the concern becomes, how did they know about her transport? How did they know about the arrangement, and why did they interfere? Sarah, describe the ring for Bellatrix, if you would.
I can't find a formal description for it, but basically it's a signet that would be closely tied to Odin. However, the thing that she describes kind of creates like a sign of some kind of personalization. An S kind of intricately placed into the ring. Anybody who would like can give me, or with context of Chicago, can give me a politics roll, intelligence politics. Carmine, yeah, fair enough. I think that's not necessary then. Carmine, I think you will probably recognize that is the signet of one of Loden's chowder, Jacob Shumter.
Was this one of Lode's disgraced chowder?
Yes. Widely detested. Their ambition led to several failures, to the point of grand disrespect from those in his community, and shows a grand resentment toward his sire and siblings.
She is a descendant of Loden, one of the rival childer to Kevin Jackson himself. If that answers any questions so far. Sarah, what happened to the individuals who were escorting you to Chicago?
When we were getting moved, I was in a van. We started driving to, I'm not really sure where we were driving. They were just taking me to another location. When the car stopped for a while, and I heard some voices outside, and then it got quiet for a bit. Someone got in the back of the van with me, dressed up in the same clothes as the people that were bringing me there. I didn't recognize them, but they said everything was fine, and we kept moving. I went to sleep, and when I woke up, we were I was told we were already there.
And when you woke up, where exactly were you? Describe the facility.
I didn't get to see it from the outside. I woke up and I was already in a room that looks like it was, it just looked like a bedroom, just very cold and dark. I was in there for a couple of days, as I was told that I would be brought to meet somebody soon. After a couple of days, that's when I was brought to a very dark room where somebody was talking to me, but they wouldn't come into the light. I found out later this was the person who claimed to be the prince when I saw them the day I did what I did. They told me that I would be staying with this person that you're talking about, my sire. They told me I'd be staying with them, and he took me to wherever he was staying, and he basically just had me tending to whatever he needed. Anytime I messed up or did something wrong, there was a punishment, and finally I guess I lost my temper, and then next thing I know, I'm this. Very shortly after that, I'm not sure how we got from point A to B, but suddenly I was back in the dark place where the prince had me kill my sire.
How did you get back here?
After I finished, he stepped into the light, and that's when I saw the large ears, and he looked like a weird cat. He handed me the coin that Nick gave me before I was sent away, and handed me a letter and said I would be returning home. Then I fell asleep again, and when I came to, I was in a small motel room in St. Pete. There was a person that kind of helped me acclimate into the city for a couple of days, and then they left and just kind of left me to do whatever. So I thought maybe I would try to find them, because they were the last people that helped me.
You described them.
The person who helped me?
Yes. A kind of tall woman. She had long black hair, green eyes. She dressed very nice. Kind of gestures over toward Grei, very similarly to Grei. But I think her name was Emily, or at least that's what I was calling her. But she only helped me for a couple days, and then she was gone. Was she one of us?
She seemed to know about the things I was asking, but she wouldn't answer any of my questions. She just helped me learn how to use some of the, I guess they gave me some money, and she showed me how to use that, some, in case I needed things. But once I knew how to manage that, she left.
There's some interesting information that said. The fact that a Nosferatu will claim his day, show themselves to be the prince and try to disguise themselves in a fashion tells me that this is likely not the work of the lead. Perhaps another Nosferatu from the area. Perhaps an imposter.
Prince? If I may ask a question of Sarah. Sarah, I hate to ask you to remember this, but within your time with him, the Ventru, were there times that he blamed you for something that you clearly hadn't done, or that are like he expected to happen? Or more specifically, when you had to diablerize him, did it seem like he knew it was coming all along? No, wrong questioning. Did it seem like he had prepared for it? I know it's hard to make anything out from that, but
Said he was staked, so it's unlikely that he had any awareness or knowledge of what was happening to him, other than what one would see and feel when in that position.
True, but my prince, if I may ask this, when one is diablerized, does not, if the theory of it's the transference of the soul is true, doesn't it also possibly transfer thoughts of recent memories, things like that?
A fair assessment. I have never followed the practice myself, so I could not say for certain. But from what I have learned and what I have researched, I believe the question you are asking, Sarah, other than when you have gone far too long without feeding, have you had any unusual impulses, urges, memories, thoughts, dreams?
I do sometimes have memories that aren't mine, and I sometimes get angrier than I think I ought to. If anything else has happened, I haven't noticed.
Regardless of what the intentions were, this is a harassment of our city. Someone is taking advantage of the dream that my grandsire put forth and is attempting to dump off their baggage on us, or potentially create an even bigger problem by inserting a spy into our midst, whether she knows it or not. You have been working for the Keeper for some time. I'd like you to look into this, find out who is harassing our city and deal with them. Get to the bottom of this. During this investigation, I'd like you to also keep a detailed record of these feelings, dreams, urges that Sarah is having. Perhaps they can give you some insight, some information. However, there is the matter of what is to be done with Sarah once this is over. Her embrace, the interruption of the process of her transfer is in direct defiance of what was ordered and agreed upon. And that was the mercy I had to offer at the time.
Prince, I'm willing to submit myself to any internal investigation to prove that we were not involved, to the best of my knowledge.
I don't believe you were involved. This is clearly an issue from Chicago or somewhere in between here and there. I do not believe this is your work. For if it was, I assume she'd be of your family and not of the Ventru, as there is not a Ventru amongst them.
I am willing.
Go ahead.
I am willing to take accounting for her after this is over, if you approve.
Her very existence is an abomination.
According to some yesterday, so was the existence of the newly allowed kindred in the city. And none of this was anything she did of her own choice.
Very few of us can credit our existence to our own choice.
If I may, Prince.
Mr. Novak.
Cut my eyes at Bella. And then back. I don't think it's fair to compare the situation to what was decided yesterday. However, there is precedent for forgiveness, especially in a situation like this. I believe if you reach out to Prince Villon, you could exchange notes with him. In 2015, he faced a similar situation. His mercy was extended.
We've extended quite our fair share of mercy in the 2 years this city has been in existence. While I disagree with many of the sentiments that the regent of the Tremere made last night, one thing that I can't help but take pause at is how many exceptions can we make before we are looked down upon as traitors or those who do not follow the traditions. However, it was not embraced here, not that we know of. She should have made it most of the way to Chicago, and therefore, it is not a violation of progeny for her to be here. And considering this a reintroduction of sorts, takes care of the issue of domain. You wish to take accounting for her, Bella.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Her sire was abusive and taught her pain. I have been through something similar. I want to teach her in a way that isn't just pain and control.
She is a Ventru. Why should I not turn her over to Dr. Eloise?
You can. Though
You're insistent upon accounting for her.
for some reason we're involved in this. I am not sure why. But I feel there's a connection.
On both of the situations you brought before me, there have been Masquerade involved. There is likely a connection there. That this girl, Sarah, is involved furthers that connection. Plan decided. Figure out who is harassing the city. Stop them from creating further disturbances. Watch after the girl and show me that you are capable of a limited accounting until this issue is resolved. If it is resolved properly, and she has shown extensive knowledge of what it is to be kindred and what practices we follow, that she can abide by our laws and observe the masquerade. What do you want, girl?
I didn't have a lot before this happened, and what I have now isn't much, but I see an opportunity to have a life that I couldn't have had before, and I want to live that if I can.
You realize the limitations that you were under being so young, something that I had hoped to prevent by sending you to Chicago?
I do, but I didn't choose this, and I have to accept what's been dealt to me. So I have to figure that out.
Very well. You will all look into and resolve this issue. Find out who is harassing us. Deal with them. And at the end of that span of time, Sarah, I will ask you again if you are certain that this is the life you desire, knowing the limitations of living in the world of it, realizing that you are a predator, potentially even a monster, that you will never experience the joys of humanity again. You will never mature. You will never age. You will never grow. If you still want this, after this process is concluded, if Bellatrix proves herself to be a capable mentor and adopted sire, I will consider that enough. But if at the end, you decide this isn't what you want, I promise it will be quick and painless.
That's very kind, my prince.
Are we agreed?
Thank you, my prince. Yes.
You carry a burden of responsibility, Bellatrix, a heavy burden. As one who is a sire, an adopted sire himself, you must understand you have a great deal of responsibility. If you are the one to be responsible for Sarah, every mistake, any mistake she makes falls on you.
I understand.
Very good. My resources are at your disposal for the purposes of this investigation. Get it done quickly as possible. Report any information to the keeper when you have it, or the sheriff if necessary. Be wary of calling upon the resources of the Premier. That situation has become complicated, to say the very least.
speaks up. My friends when they leave, there's something that I may need to discuss with you after they have left, something that's come to my attention in the last couple of days.
Very well. Thank you, all of you. You are dismissed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As these dismissals are happening, Nick. I'm afraid the connections that you're looking for are not something that you can find in this moment. But you do notice something when the premonition pops. That darkness is much more present than it has been before. And you come across what appears to be another little veil. If you give me a composure and resolve, you can attempt to break through and find another memory.
Great. I'd say that since he's trying to break through, tempered will won't go here. Spend a will. May I spend the will?
Yeah, you may.
I want that too.
How much?
Just two.
Just two. You don't get the full memory, but you do hear a word that you recognize. The name Carlisle.
And this isn't it within the general vicinity of what I was trying to push for.
Not necessarily. This is you having to pivot to what this is. You know what? Actually, I will give you this. You don't have the memory, but you learn the full name, Lyndon Carlisle. In the premonition, that kind of phase ends. You all are brought out of the Elysium grounds, brought back to what is on everybody's minds as you are leaving the premises. Bellatrix.
Satisfaction, that went as well as it could have gone, honestly, given the weird circumstances. He could have, in all rights, just killed her right there and cut all ties to what was going on, so it actually went really well, in Bella's opinion. She will look over to Grei and be like, "You spoke up, I didn't expect you to."
Is important to you. I figured I'd do you something solid. Sarah's worse off than I thought. And maybe of anyone, I've got the best perspective to give her some footing in reality. And that sucks.
Matthew.
That could have gone a lot worse. That he was not expecting that to go the way it did. And he also really wants to know what the hell happened last night.
as he's walking the others, he's tuned out almost completely at this point. Just tapping coin on top of the finding that veil back again and only grabbing a name. He's also churning through how much of this is a setup and are we falling into it? Am I falling, like, between Al, between Edwin, between whatever's going on with Sarah? He is deeply disturbed, but there's an odd sense of joy that he can't place. It's like he can feel strings playing on his finger. He just needs to tug the right one. And a little smile crosses his face.
As you all leave, I'm going to say you're heading to the Ascent to wrap up the evening. When you arrive, Grei, you receive a text that just looks like it has copy and pasted words from an article. The article is titled 3 Found Dead in the Gulf. This text was sent to you by Edwin. Go meet Jarvis Corwin. That is where we'll end session. But before we go, we cut back to Elysium as your coterie has left the grounds. Edwin turns over to Carmine. I couldn't say very much in the meeting, but I do believe there's possibly some connection between myself and these people from Chicago. They came to me, the coterie, the other day, and told me that these individuals, they've captured somebody close to Matthew. And in exchange for them, they want me. When I was establishing my organization, I did spend some time in Chicago. I never had any confrontation with the lead, but there could be some people I might have pissed off. And I wanted to bring that to your attention, but I will help them to resolve this problem. I won't let this become a problem in the city.
How much do they know about your association with your business dealings?
They shouldn't have known much. I'm surprised they found Edwin Kane. They shouldn't have been able to get this close to me, but it seems they have.
The coterie?
The coterie doesn't. I think the coterie has some concerns, maybe, but I think that's because these individuals keep knocking at the door. But I think they are aware of who I am, and I think they know the coterie works for me, and I think they're trying to use them to get close to me.
Mr. Kane, you understand the only reason this arrangement exists is because there is an interference between your other dealings and this.
It hasn't been so far, and as I said, I will make sure that it doesn't become any further of a problem. If that makes sense.
I won't have your problems becoming the city's problems.
I won't either.
Very good.
He bows his head, and he takes his leave. Thank you very much for tagging along for this story so far. We will see you on the next chapter.
This has been a St. Petersburg by Night production. Bloody Strings is produced in agreement with the World of Darkness and Darkback. The storyteller for Bloody Strings is Beara. Tonight's characters were voiced by Noree, Kyrie, Lekar, and Truckexe. Visit our website at stpbynight.com for more information about all of our productions and how you can become part of our community. Thank you for listening. Until next time, fangs, stakes, and claws out.